Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be comparing the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro to the Silverado ZR2. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larch Miller Chevy here in Provo for giving me some time with the ZR2. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood of the Silverado, we have a naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 14 around town and then 17 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. You can also get a diesel with this. Now, powering the TRD Pro is a hybrid twin-turbo 3.4-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy, average is going to be in the high teens, and then power outputs are pretty crazy, 437 horsepower and then 583 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the ZR2, you've got that giant bulge there in the center of the hood with the 6.2L badge. Notice most everything has been blacked out. You can see the bumper's been sculpted for approach angle, and then also you can see there on the tire, where the tire gap is, pretty cool overall. And then taking a look at the Tundra, you can see it's more traditional Tundra styling. They didn't really change much with the front end for the TRD Pro. I mean, you do have the marker lights, you do have the light bar as well, but they didn't do anything crazy with the bumper like on the ZR2. You do have skid plate protection underneath with the Tundra, so that is a change. The ZR2 though has the same thing. But anyways, you guys can see the ZR2 also sits a little bit higher, but let me know which truck you like best. Now with the ZR2, our tire wheel setup is 275/70/18 in the front and over in the rear, and with the Tundra it is 285/65/18 in the front and over in the rear. And I think the biggest thing is look at the tread pattern, not the tread amount because this Tundra has some miles on it, the ZR2 is brand new, but just look at the tread pattern difference with them. Now again, the ZR2 does have a lift from the factory, as you can see. The Tundra, it's got decent clearance here as well. But I think the side profile really shows you on the truck. So here's the stance with the ZR2, especially look at that front end, it sits pretty high. And then you can see with the Tundra, it has a level stance, it just doesn't sit quite as high as the ZR2. And then the ZR2, you can see leaf springs. We've got multi-matic shocks, kind of hard to see them. Whereas the Tundra, we've got Fox shocks, and then you have a multi-link system in the back. And then taking a look at the key fobs, functionality on them is basically the same. The remote start with the Tundra built into the lock function. And then taking a look at the bed of the Tundra, you guys can see composite construction here. We've got LED bed lights, and then you can see here as well. But yeah, nice setup. Tailgate. Got a little bit of weight to it, but it's easy to lift up. You can see TRD Pro there. And then you got the button here on the side to lower the tailgate. Look at those exhaust tips at the bottom. But yeah, I mean, overall, I do like the style of the TRD Pro. I think it looks pretty sharp. Taking a look at the ZR2, you can see protection from the factory, LED lights, the bed, got an outlet as well. And I think this one automatically raises up. Yep. Because it didn't have the multi-flex. Got bumper steps there. And then with the exhaust tips, they're more reasonable. They're hidden under the truck so that you have better departure angle, and this is where you can see the height difference with the trucks. It's crazy. And the thing with the ZR2 is it only has like about an inch more ground clearance on it's a little bit more than an inch, but yeah, you can see the clearance differences. Now in the back of the Tundra, great space here. You can see the storage pocket, and then got this trim on the door panel. Nice stitching there. And then I do like the theme here with the seats. You got the camo design in the center, baby wipes not included. But yeah, really nice trim there. No underseat storage because the hybrid. And then headroom, it's decent. And then taking a look at the Silverado backseat area, somewhat similar with the space. You can see heated seats back here. I do like the seat design more in terms of off-road stuff. So first off, you get storage, which storage is always nice. But yeah, small perforations. And those small perforations are going to be great for cleaning up these seats after the fact. Whereas the Tundra, with the bigger perforations, not so much. And then headroom, pretty similar. And starting up the Tundra. Ooh. So again, soft touch here, which is pretty nice. All the stitching, all of our window controls. And then notice the mirrors do power fold in. Got your memory seat function, blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And look at the steering wheel here, perforated all around. You can see TRD there, and then with the marker at the top, which is pretty cool. Bunch of practical controls, big digital gauge cluster where you can change the drive modes or see the change in the drive modes. And then this has a nice 360 camera system as well. And then as for the infotainment system, quick response time, easy to use. You've got heated and cooled seats, you've got dual zone climate, you've got a rear locking differential, And then you can see with the shifter TRD there, wireless phone charging pad, traditional 2-speed transfer case. We do have the drive mode select with the multi-terrain and crawl control as well, which Toyota's famous for. Pretty cool center console design with how this kind of all opens up. I like the Toyota logo there. We do have a camera rear view mirror. The whole window goes down in the back. Nice feature. And then panoramic sunroof with this one. And before I forget, bada bing, bada boom, 1,345 pounds of payload. And Silverado. So we'll start with the payload on this one. 1,445 pounds, so a little bit more payload than the Tundra. And solid sound at the closing. I like the trim in the ZR2. Really cool design. Tight fit and finish. Tighter than the Tundra, believe it or not. Like this, solid. Anyways, with the steering wheel, you got a bunch of practical controls similar to the Tundra. I will say this steering wheel isn't as cool looking as the Tundra steering wheel. Digital gauge cluster, we can see the drive mode. Select all of that. 360 camera system, just like the Tundra. So they're both pretty similar in camera system fronts. And the infotainment system's just as responsive, just as easy to use. Now, big difference, this has a front locking differential as well as the rear, so better on that front. And then when it comes to the four-wheel drive system, it has four-wheel auto, so more advanced four-wheel drive system, so better on that front as well. But heated cold seats, dual zone climate, all of the works there. And you can see this whole center console area. I like the shifter more on the Tundra than this shifter, but this one's fine. Let's see where else, phone charging pad. And again, solid feel. Like this center console doesn't wiggle. Like the Tundras, you can wiggle it quite a bit. And then this actually is a double glove box. Some more storage. I like that trim on the outside. You can see the nice trim on the dash as well. This one has a just regular sunroof, no panoramic. Camera rear view mirror, just like the Tundra. And then we do have a power sliding rear window. Now, when it comes to pricing, that Tundra stickers for about $74,000. That stickers for about $77,000. So there is a little bit of a price difference. Let's drive them and sum things up. So, setting off in the ZR2, and we'll do the Tundra second. First off, I'll say that V8 is rambunctious. It's got a nice tone to it. That is such a nice sound. Now the ZR2, I mean, it's you sit pretty high. That little HUD bulge in the center does get in the way a little bit, but it's not bad. These seats are pretty dang comfortable. I like what they did with the bolsters on these compared to other Chevy trucks. These bolsters kind of have like, they're wider, they're more open, so the seat just feels more comfortable. Yeah, oddly enough, these are the most comfortable seats in a Silverado. Not the High Country, not the Denali. You know, obviously that's not a Silverado, that's a GMC, but still, it's interesting. Yeah, nice ride. You do feel a little bit of, you know, bumpiness in the back end with those leaf springs, but it's not bad. Multimatic shocks do a pretty good job of handling everything. It's smooth. It's a smooth ride. So no complaints from that. And let's take this V8 for a rip. Yeah, what a monster. What a monster. Quick too with the transmission. Now you guys know I prefer the diesel, but this V8's still a great engine. Be interesting how it compares to that Tundra. But yeah, overall, I mean, the ZR2, it is bigger. It drives like a bigger truck, but it drives well and it's comfortable. And the build, that's the biggest thing I want to emphasize in this review. The build quality feels really solid. Just get into a ZR2 and just touch the trim pieces and everything. It's not perfect, right? But it's really nice, especially when you compare it to that Toyota. But let's jump in the Tundra. Okay, so setting off in the Tundra. The seats are more comfortable in the Tundra right off the bat. The seats are comfortable in the Chevy, but these seats are a bit more comfortable. And this truck feels smaller. It really does. It's lower to the ground. You do feel that, but it just somehow feels a little bit lighter on its feet. And I think a big part of that's the coil suspension in the back. It stays more planted, so that kind of, and then also, yeah, being lower to the ground, right? Lower center of gravity. It's weird to talk about in a pickup truck, especially an off-road pickup truck, but it's the thing. Oh yeah, the engine's way different. So this drives more similar to the diesel in the ZR2 than it does to that 6.2 V8. It almost has the best of both worlds. It's got like the torque similar to that diesel, but then it also has a lot of horsepower, just like that 6.2 V8. So I think Toyota did a really good job on this powertrain in terms of drivability. It's quite impressive indeed. And then aside from that, like I said, with the interior, like look at the center console. It's so wiggly. The Toyota just doesn't build stuff like they used to. I feel like it's not horrible though, but doesn't necessarily feel quicker. It's got a good push, but I don't like the acceleration doesn't necessarily feel quicker. It drives well. I think the suspension might be slightly more comfortable, which, I mean, Fox always does a really good job with their shocks, so that makes sense. So I think I'm gonna have a similar endpoint to this as what I had in my AT4X review. The Tundra's, you know, for what it is, it's reasonably priced. It's less expensive if you can get one for MSRP, which in today's market, you probably should be able to. But yeah, the ZR2 is more capable off-road objectively. It's got more clearance, it's got better angles, it's got a front locking differential, just better off-road truck. But yeah, in terms of daily driving, they're both really good. This feels a little bit easier to daily drive. So I guess if you're more of a mall crawler, yeah, lean more towards the Tundra. But if you're actually going to use your truck for truck stuff and off-roading, yeah, that ZR2, it's hard to beat with all the equipment that has. Let me know what you think.